早上好，中国. So you probably found out from the title of this video that roughly 50% of the CCTV cameras worldwide are owned by China. In fact, there's one right in front of me as I'm walking just in this riverside park. It's quite gorgeous. Am I bothered by it? No, actually it makes me feel quite safe. Let me tell you guys something on why I support this surveillance camera system. Basically, every corner of China you go to, there's no way for you to avoid it. It is everywhere. And honestly, I think especially if you're a single woman, if you want to go outside for a walk alone in the dark, you probably feel a lot safer, because in China there are almost virtually no violent crimes, because you're guaranteed to get caught. These cameras are everywhere. You just can't avoid it. And obviously part of the contributing factor why China does this is part of their social credit score system. This is how they implement their rules. But also, I'll give you guys an example. So my sister's current husband, by the way, unfortunately, as I have landed back in China, as I've learned more about my family, so there's been a lot more divorces that's been added to my family. So her current husband, he was involved in a car accident. This is just a few weeks ago. He has his own vehicle, of course, but he also bought a very cheap electric scooter, which I'm hoping later today I can go for a ride. Very, very cool. So, but it's a tiny little electric scooter. He uses it sometimes to pick up his son, because the traffic during rush hour is a complete nightmare. But see, the thing is the scooter is so small, it only has 2 wheels. So a few weeks ago, a car clipped him and then knocked him and his son over. And unfortunately, the car took off. And what did they do? Obviously, they reported to the police to press charges. And because there are literally CCTV cameras around every single corner, nobody can avoid it. And the entire country, the whole system is connected. So it doesn't matter if you commit a crime, let's say in the northeastern China, let's say if you flee south, if you go to Shenzhen or Guangzhou, which is 3-4 hours of flight away, right, a few thousand kilometers, a few thousand miles away, they can still catch you. And right away, literally, the police headquarters, they went to look through the footages of their CCTV camera. So the suspect, he was caught, I would say, on the same day, and that's it. It was that simple. And obviously they found out where this guy lived. They went to his front door, they knocked on the front door, and he was arrested, and they pressed charges. And he was forced to pay 3,000 yuan, which is, it's not much. 3,000 yuan, that's what, $400 US. But the key thing is that this is a major deterrent for anybody that's living in China. So because they know that you're constantly being watched everywhere. There's these are, I don't know what they call this system, like the Hawkeye. It's a massive deterrent for any violent crime. So right now, as of I would say in 2024 in China, there are virtually no violent crimes anywhere. It is extremely safe. As you guys can see, I'm just walking around, going for a stroll on a Thursday morning, and there's nothing much happening. It's peace and tranquility, and that's what I really, really like about this system. And yes, as a matter of fact, as I continue to walk, I'm coming up to an intersection. As you guys can see, there are more of these cameras. So this intersection, there's what, 2, possibly 3. So these are everywhere. These are at every single traffic corner as well, every single major road, every single side road as well. And I think it works quite well, because people know that these cameras are everywhere. You will almost never see a car in China that is willing to run a red light, because if you run a red light anywhere at any intersection in China, you're guaranteed to get caught, because there's cameras everywhere at every single angle. And of course, many of you guys might have this question for me, and many of you guys know China has an excess man crisis, right? There are tens of millions of leftover single lonely men, and obviously India has the same issue, and it's much worse. And I've said many times before, you might not believe it, but I'm pretty sure India has to be the rape capital of the world. And because of this CCTV system, right, because there are cameras around every single street corner, every single dark alleyway, so in China there's no rape epidemic, because if you commit something as vicious as that, you are guaranteed to get caught. There's no way, right? I just mentioned my sister's current husband. He was riding his electric scooter with his son after school. They were clipped by a car, and they were lucky that there was no injuries, but they reported to the police. They literally caught the guy within less than 24 hours, and he was forced to pay 3,000 yuan. So yeah, and it's a double-edged sword. It may not be perfect, but honestly, I feel much safer with the CCTV camera surveillance. And I know a lot of people are saying that, you know, China is, you know, draconian, it's authoritarian, it's not safe. Trust me, you know, I've been living in China for a while now. As you guys are watching this video, China is 100% safe because of all these CCTV cameras. There are no violent crimes anywhere. I'm not saying that it's perfect, but I'm saying that it is close to zero now because, you know, all of these cameras. Also because of the WeChat app, right? I mentioned before in previous videos, the QR code. Because of this QR code, hardly anybody is carrying cash, so you don't even have to worry about things like, you know, theft and pickpocket, because very few people have any cash on them. So even the thieves, you know, they've completely gone down the drain. Their business is 100% drained out. So what are the things that you should watch out for? People say that, you know, China, does it have a lot of pollution? Is the air quality bad? Well, it is quite damp and rainy this morning. Normally the sky is much better, as you guys can see, right? I'm right beside the Songhua River. This is the artery that cuts through the city. Yeah, the air quality is not so bad. So I go for a morning jog along this riverside path. It's very nice because there are no cars, there are only people walking, sometimes cycling, sometimes other people run as well. So mostly old and retired people, right? Because young people, they have to bust their ass off, they have to work, and they have to make a lot of money. So yeah, the air quality, I would say on average is probably not the best. It's not as good as Canada or the United States, but it's very much livable. I wouldn't say it's a nightmare situation. Some cities, industrial cities, are much worse. But you know, I'm living in a tier 4 city right now. I'm just temporarily staying here. I will be traveling across the country. As you guys can see, right, everything's fine. Anything you should be concerned about, right? You know, it is a fact that there are cameras everywhere, and if you're going to China, if you're traveling, if you're filming public space, obviously any open space is perfectly fine. Sometimes if you're indoors, you gotta be a little bit careful. Some stores, they don't allow filming, and you should respect their rules, especially if you go to holy places. Let's say if you go to a Buddhist temple or something. Certain places, they allow you to film, they allow you to take pictures, but specifically there are many places they will have sizing plates says, you know, do not use your camera or your phone in this place, and you should absolutely respect the rules. So there's one thing that you absolutely must never ever film in China. If you see any kind of a military presence anywhere, right, whether it's outside or inside, if you see a military parade or something, if you see a military vehicle or tank on the street, do not film that ever, period. And if you film it, something very bad is going to happen to you, right? A bunch of people are going to come in, they're going to kidnap you, they will torture you, and they will cut off your Chinese egg roll. So I'm just giving you guys a warning. Do not film the military anywhere while you're in China. Police, probably not a good idea as well. This is probably on the borderline. This is 50-50. You know, you can try to push your luck, but definitely not the military. Police, not a good idea either. But security guards, they're nothing. They're probably fine. Just give you guys a heads up. But yeah, just letting you guys know, just if you ever visit China, just be ready. There are going to be cameras on every single street corner. You're constantly being watched. I'll just call this the Hawkeye system. So yeah, it is everywhere. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword. I think I feel a lot safer. I don't have to worry about, you know, some guy just going to jump on me from behind, because they know that, you know, if they commit a violent crime, they're guaranteed to get caught. So yeah, this new CCTV camera thing, this has probably happened, I would say, within the last 10 years. They're everywhere now. So whether you like it or not, you gotta get used to it. I will see you guys next time.